Now, this week, the Irish media flocked to Shannon to meet billionaire businessman Donald Trump as he visited his new investment at Trump International Golf Links and Hotel Ireland at Doonbeg. Trump plans to turn the Doonbeg golf resort into one of the most iconic golf courses in the world.
And TV3's Colette Fitzpatrick travelled to Doonbeg to meet the Donald, as he's also known, to chat about politics, the presidential election, and what he thinks of Kim Kardashian. Let's have a look.
Donald, great to meet you. I know every time you sit down to an interview you get asked about all the same things: The Apprentice, politics, presidential ambitions, Obama, sometimes your hair. So where do you want to start?
Well, it doesn't matter, I guess, but I do get a lot of questions about a lot of different things. There's no question about it.
Okay, well, let's talk about politics then, because you famously said that Obama might go down as one of the worst presidents, or perhaps the worst president in US history. Why?
Well, he's done a very poor job. The economy is one thing, but if you look at the job he's doing with respect to just the world respect, I mean, we're not a respected country anymore. Our leadership is very weak, and Obama is not doing a good job, and I think anybody, including most Democrats, admit that. It's been a disaster, and we'll see what happens. I'd love for him to do a great job, even if it's a year and a half, 2 years off. I'd love to see him do a fantastic job. I happen to be a Republican, but I would love to see it, but it's not going to happen. He's not doing a good job.
You questioned his citizenship during his campaign, and you said afterwards, if you produced that long form birth cert, you produced your tax returns, but you didn't do it, did you?
Well, I don't know. Did he do it? And I will be, if I decide to run for office, I'll produce my tax returns, absolutely. And I would love to do that. I did produce actually a financial statement, even though I wasn't even running. I did produce a financial statement, and it was shocking to some because it was so much higher than people thought even possible. So it was a great statement, and it was my honor to do it. But no, the president should come clean. He should have come clean over the years. And you know, if you remember the very famous story where I offered him $5 million if he shows some basic records, and he never took me up on it, and that would be for charity. So charities would have benefited, and it would have been a great thing.
But he is a citizen. He produced that long form birth cert.
Well, a lot of people don't agree with you, and a lot of people feel it wasn't a proper certificate.
When he was re-elected in 2016, you tweeted at the time, because I know you're an avid tweeter, that the whole electoral process in the United States was a sham and a travesty. But he actually did get the popular vote as well as the Electoral College.
Well, I was being sarcastic. I mean, you have to understand sarcasm, and a lot of people were very upset. That was a race that should have been won by Romney easily, and for some reason Romney didn't perform well in the last month, and Obama got in. And Obama was very beatable, and he should have been beaten. And obviously I was being sarcastic, and I have fun with sarcasm.
Mm-hmm. Do you have presidential ambitions yourself? Is it true that you've put a lot of money into researching your chances to run in 2016?
Well, I do very well in the polls in the United States. I'm at the top of many of the polls, and I don't want them to poll me now because I haven't made any determination. So for the most part, I'm not polled. But last time I was leading in the polls, and I was seriously leading in the polls during that entire period of time and doing very well. I thought that Romney would win. I thought he should have won. Something happened where he didn't win, and that is politics, as they say.
Okay, in terms of what sort of a platform you would run on, you are a Republican, you are a conservative, you are anti-gun control, you are pro-life.
Yes.
What would your campaign slogan be?
Well, I think it would be Make America Great Again, because our country is not great right now. We're heading downward, and we're heading downward fast. We have leadership that doesn't know what they're doing. And I think if you were asking me a very quick question like you're asking me, it would be Make America Great Again.
Mm-hmm. You're here in Ireland, and you spoke yesterday about the economy and what you being here will bring to this part of the country. What are people saying in America? What are the business leaders saying around the boardrooms, and what are you reading in the New York Times about the economy here and about our political leaders?
Well, I think that your economy is really ready to go up and big. I think that you've gone through the worst of it. You've gone through very hard times, almost worse than any other nation. But I think Ireland, first of all, it's great people, most importantly, and it's a great country. And I think you're really ready to surge forward. I guess I probably wouldn't have. This is a big investment. Don't forget, I bought it perhaps for the right price, but I'm going to spend tremendous amounts of money on making Trump International Golf Links and Hotel one of the great destinations of the world, and it's going to bring tourism and it's going to bring jobs. So, I mean, I wouldn't have done that if I didn't think Ireland was heading in the right direction, because the worst thing you can do is buy something for the right price, but you're in a country that's going in the wrong direction.
So do you think we know what we're doing here? Because, I mean, you know that in Germany, essentially, the Troika has been running this country for the last couple of years. Do you think we've got our hand on the tiller now?
The Irish are very smart, and they're very sharp, and I've dealt with them all my life, believe me, and nobody's smarter. And the Irish economy is ready to surge. It already is, in all fairness. I mean, about a year ago, I started seeing things happen, and it is surging, and I think you're going to go from really having a hard time to being a world leader. I really believe that your whole tax policy and your whole incentivized policy is the right thing.
You're talking about our corporation tax rate?
Yes, I think so. And many companies move to Ireland. I mean, I see companies all the time. Where are you going? I'm moving to Ireland. You are? Why? And they talk about the tax incentives.
There is an issue across Europe about whether it's fair or not to have this corporation tax rate.
Well, I think it's a great thing for Ireland, because you're going to have a lot of people moving here. I can tell you, I know of a number of companies that are moving to Ireland, and it was sort of like, where did that come from?
No-brainer.
Right?
Okay.
And it was great.
Okay.
So especially now that I own this big place, I like it. But Ireland has a great future, and it's just great people. And no, I feel very strongly. And again, if I didn't feel that way, I wouldn't have made this big investment.
Okay, you met Michael Noonan yesterday.
I
What
did.
do you make of him, and what do you make of Enda Kenny, our leader?
Well, I think that Michael, who I met, is just a terrific guy. He loves this country. He spoke so warmly about the country. I mean, he's a man that is in love with the country. And that's so important, and it was very nice that he met me. And he met me because I'm throwing, tremendous amounts of money into Ireland.
Sure, and what about your perception of Enda Kenny? I know you haven't met him.
Well, I haven't met him, but I can tell you that Ireland is on the upswing, and I would say over the last year and a half, it's a lot of very positive things have happened for Ireland. So I look forward to meeting him, and I would imagine he's doing a very good job based on the fact that a lot of good things have happened to Ireland over the last year.
How do you balance your personal life and business life? Because you are so in love with making that deal and being that huge presence in the business world. It must be difficult, because I know you've said in the past it's difficult for your ex-wives to have competed with that. You loved it so much.
Well, it is true. It's difficult, and I still love it. I mean, I love this, and I have a great wife and a great relationship. But I love this, and probably they have to understand that. That's just the way it works. I can't change. I'm not going to be able to change. It's too late to change.
Are you easy to live with, Donald, do you think?
I think I'm amazingly easy to live with, yes, absolutely. Amazingly easy to live with. And people don't know that. Now, it's not like I'm around. I'm going from here to Dubai and Turnberry, and I'm going to Aberdeen to say hello to my friends in Aberdeen. But I think I'm probably a lot easier to live with than you would think.
Are you in touch with your feminine side, do you think?
Meaning what?
Would you call yourself a feminist?
I respect women greatly. I respect women greatly and have great relationships to women. I mean, I've always gotten along very well with women. When I was building the Grand Hyatt Hotel in New York, I was very young, and this was years ago, and I had a superintendent in charge of construction who was a woman. And to the best of anybody's knowledge, that's the first major building built in New York where a woman was in charge of the building. So I've always been very good from the standpoint of respecting women. And women know that. They know that. They understand that.
What makes you emotional, Donald?
Well, you always have to get into the family thing, because there's nothing like family. And despite what I had just said, the fact is that there's nothing more important than great relationships and great family. I have many friends that are unbelievably successful. The most successful people, I know them very well, and they're miserable people. They don't have a good family life, they don't have a good marriage, they don't have good kids, their kids are problems for them. And they're very unhappy people, and yet they're tremendously, monetarily, they're, among the biggest successes in the world. And I see how unhappy they are. So, I mean, I get it. Having great family and great relationships, a wife, a husband, children, is really much more important than this kind of success.
When was the last time you cried?
Well, I haven't cried in a while. I don't like to cry, and I don't like to put myself on display crying, but I see people cry. I have no objection to it.
Roz Purcell, our model, I know you put your eye on her when she competed in the Miss Universe pageant in 2010. What did you make of her? You kind of handpicked her, didn't you?
I thought she was a very nice person. I actually did. And I hope she's doing well, but I thought she was a very, very nice person.
I just want to make mention of the fact that there is a helicopter actually landing outside, and this is because there's a links tournament on.
Yeah, this is all the Trump effect. We have helicopters. All of a sudden, we went from no helicopters. Everybody's got helicopters.
And have you told the locals there's going to be lots of
people are coming in, and they love this place, and now I've put it on the map. Everybody's talking about it, whether it's an interview with you or somebody else, and people are all talking about how great Doonbeg, the former Doonbeg, is going to be.
Sure. Finally, before we let you go, Donald, I just want to ask you about a couple of people. What do you think of the Pope?
I think he's terrific. He's really the Pope of the people, and I think he's done something very unique. I think he's terrific.
Kim Kardashian?
Well, I don't really have much of a comment. It's hard to say. She thinks I was so great. She made such nice statements about me that Donald Trump is the greatest. And you know what I'm saying? When people say that about me, I say nothing bad about them.
Hillary Clinton?
Very smart. She's going to be, in my opinion, she's going to run. She's going to be the Democratic nominee, and she's going to be tough to beat. Unless the Republicans have somebody very tough and very smart, they're not going to win.
Are you going to beat her?
I think I could beat her if I ran, but we'll see whether or not. I'll wait till November. We have big elections coming up in the United States in November, and I will wait till November and we'll see.
All right, before you go, we've got some gifts for you because the Kilkenny Design Centre gave us lots of Irish gifts, and one of them I have to give to you. This is a cap. It's an Irish cap,
very nice.
Donald. And we have a very famous politician in this country called Jackie Healy-Rae, and he wears this all of the time, even when he's in Parliament. We call it the Dáil in Dublin, and he wears it all of the time.
I'll try it out. Okay.
So, and lots of other goodies from Newbridge and from John Ross Jewellery. So we hope you enjoy them. Thank you so much for talking to us. We really appreciate your time.
Great honour.
Did Colette Fitzpatrick really put Donald Trump and Jackie Healy-Rae in the same bracket? Well done, colleague. That's our girl. Interesting interview. Hard to know what to make of the man, but when you hear somebody like him talking about our corporate tax regime and praising it the way he does, and obviously it's very good for people like him, you wonder how good it is for ordinary people. And you wonder how our European brethren are going to view it. Not very well. But anyway, there you go. There's the Donald. He's making a splash. He's going to spend an awful lot of money, huge amounts. How many times did he say that in the interview? 4 or 5 times? And of course, he's a complete altruist, so he's doing it for our benefit and not for his. But in any case, there'll be jobs, there'll be work, there'll be employment. It'll put it on the map, and it's got to be good for the country in some form or fashion. Well, maybe it'll trickle down to those of us who actually live in the country. Anyway, there you go. Coming up on Monday's programme, we'll be speaking to Donald's daughter, Ivanka Trump, who is the Executive Vice President of Development and Acquisitions at the Trump Organisation. Some title, I wonder how big her card is. Anyway, with the surname...